Gameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you our collegesportingnews.com Game of the Week preview between the Southern Illinois Salukis and the Northern Iowa Panthers. Now let's take a look at some keys to victory for both teams, starting with the Salukis. One of the most explosive offenses in the FCS, the Salukis average 32 points a game, and they do it equally on the ground as well as through the air. Southern Illinois is led by quarterback Corey Faulkner, who has done a great job so far this season, averaging over 430 yards passing a game. However, the Achilles heel is their defense. They can get to the quarterback, but they will also give up the big play. Now, to their credit, they've improved over the last 3 weeks, but they still are not able to make plays consistently enough in the secondary. Now let's move over to Northern Iowa in this ball game, and offensively they did what they had to do last week except convert on third downs when they needed it the most. Sustaining drives is going to be vital this week versus SIU because they can really put up points in a hurry. And I love the defensive intensity. They consistently can get to the quarterback, and this week versus Southern Illinois, they will have to find that balance between staying aggressive while maintaining gap discipline. The X factor for Southern Illinois will be their third down defense. This is a defense that's struggling so far this season. Can they get off the field, especially versus a team that can run the football like Northern Iowa? The X factor for Northern Iowa will be their linebackers in pass coverage. When you're facing a team like Southern Illinois, they put a lot of pressure on your linebackers to be effective in that intermediate zone, in that intermediate coverage. They're going to have to excel this week if they want to win this ball game. Now here are some coaching points for both teams in this ball game. For Southern Illinois, you can't make every game a shootout. At some point, your defense has to step up and make a play. You also have to take away running back David Johnson, one of the best running backs in the FCS, and also their number one option. Force these guys to throw the football all day, take away their running game. And quarterback Corey Faulkner has to excel in the red zone. Northern Iowa has a very good defense. They also clamp down in the red zone, so he's going to have to come away with 7 instead of 3. Now for Northern Iowa in this ball game, you can't let one loss become 2. Forget about what happened last week versus North Dakota State. That was that game. This is this game. Focus on SIU. And the receivers are going to have to beat bump press. I'm pretty sure the Salukis will load up to try to stop the run, and those receivers are going to have to get up. They're going to have to beat one-on-one coverage in order to be successful. And the cornerbacks need huge games this week versus a potent passing attack in Southern Illinois. They do have a great cornerback back there in sophomore DeAndre Hall, but they have to step up as a unit in order to come away successful. Now here are some 2014 draft prospects you want to keep an eye on in this ball game for Southern Illinois. Look at quarterback Corey Faulkner and how he throws the football. Great size, live arm as well. Tight end Maycole Pruitt is one of the best tight ends in the FCS level. Definitely a guy that you want to keep an eye on. And Victor Craven, former Oklahoma transfer, 6'7", 295, has done an excellent job so far this season for the Salukis. In Iowa, we look at Dan Kruger, who's a guard but can also kick out as a right tackle. Running back David Johnson has jumped onto the scene. This is a guy at 6'3", 225, is a load to bring down, but also has the speed to take the distance, and he's a junior. Defensive lineman Xavier Williams and also Chris Jespin, 2 outstanding defensive players up front. They give that Northern Iowa Panthers defense the potency it needs to get to the quarterback. Cornell Craig was an outstanding receiver for the Salukis from 1996 to 1999, and he is the all-time leader in receptions with 207, yards with over 3,500, and touchdowns with 37, and was a 1AA Player of the Year and a consensus All-American in 1999. Bryce Pop was a tackling machine for Northern Iowa from 1986 to 1989. Each and every Saturday, opposing offenses had to find out where he was and effectively occupy him with 2 blockers. He was also a consensus All-American. I like Northern Iowa in this ballgame. I think they'll bounce back and knock off Southern Illinois, who has a great offense. Don't get me wrong, I love points and you need points to win, but you also have to be able to stop people, and I think the Northern Iowa Panthers have the defense to make that happen, and they also have the running game to chew up the TOP, which could also serve as their best defense versus a team like SIU.